To part 2 of my notes on one-step equations. So yesterday we learned how to solve one-step equations with addition and subtraction. Now, today we're going to solve one-step equations on multiplication and division. So we're on page 2 of the notes that we started the previous day. So look here, if A equals B, then A times C equals B times C. So this is the multiplication. Property of equality says that you are multiplying the same number on both sides. If A equals B, then A times C equals B times C. And if you look down here, if A equals B, then A divided by C equals B divided by C. So this is the division. Property of equality says that you are dividing by the same number on both sides. And what I do to one side, I must do to the other. And this saying is basically for the properties of equalities. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. That's what all these properties of equalities do. To eliminate a fraction, you can use the multiplicative inverse property. So, which says A times 1 over A equals 1. And 1 over A times A also equals 1. Okay, now let's do some practice. And once again, we're going to check the first two. And then the others we can check using a calculator. Okay, so number 1 says negative 9x equals negative 63. So what does number in front of letter mean? Multiplication. So what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide both sides by negative 9. Negative 9 divided by negative 9 equals 1. So we say that it's a 1 in disguise because we don't need to write 1x. We just write x. So we say the 1 is in disguise. And what's negative 63 divided by negative 9? Positive 7. So to check this, we would do negative 9 times my answer, which is 7, and see if it equals negative 63. And you can type this into your calculator, if you need to, by typing in 9 negative times 7 and hit equals. And you would get negative 63. So negative 63 equals negative 63, therefore it checks. You can also probably do negative 9 times 7 in your head. Okay, number 2, 16x equals negative 48. Remember, we said when we have a fraction, we can do the multiplicative inverse. So how many 6 make a whole? 6. So we can multiply both sides by 6. Because by multiplying by its reciprocal, I turn this side into 1. And we call it a 1 in disguise, so write x equals negative 48 times 6. Is negative 288. So circle it. To check this, now this one you probably want to double check in your calculator. So write down 16 times negative 288 equals negative 48. Now, here's how you would type this into your calculator. So hit pause if you don't have a calculator already. Okay, 1 divided by 6, so type in 1 divided by 6 times 288 negative and hit equals. And your calculator should say negative 48. So write down negative 48 equals negative 48, and it does in fact check. So please make sure you can use the calculator to check these. It will be key. You will never get these wrong if you can use your calculator to check them. Okay, the next one, 27 equals x divided by 3. So what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by 3. That turns into a 1 in disguise. So 3 times 27 is 81. So 81 equals x, or x equals 81. Okay, box this in. This is your answer. And notice I haven't drawn the t for any of these because I try to keep the t just for adding and subtracting, so we don't get confused. Okay, number 4. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to this. Here's how you would check it in your calculator. So find the variable. So here's the variable, and we want 81 divided by 3. So type in 81 divided by 3, hit equals, and you would get 27. Now we're only showing the check for the first two, but even when I don't say show the check, you need to be checking these because we can't get them wrong if we check them. Okay, number 4, 4x. The opposite of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is a 1 in disguise. And the answer is 8. So now let's check this in our calculator. 4 times 8 is 32. Wait a second. 4 times 8 is 32. I'm supposed to get negative 32. So that means my answer is wrong. See if you can figure out what mistake I made on purpose. Good. Negative 32 divided by 4 is negative 8. Now let's try to check it. 4 times negative 8, so if I'm typing this into the calculator, 4 times 8 negative, hit equals, and it should say negative 32. So now it checks. And I forgot to put a check mark by that one. We did check that. Okay, number 5, find the variable. It's over on this side. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So divide both sides by 7. 7 divided by 7 is a 1 in disguise, and 56 divided by 7 is 8. So 8 equals x, or x equals 8. And box that in. Okay, let's double check this. 7, find the variable, so 7 times 8. And what's 7 times 8? Good, 56, so it does in fact check. Okay, number 6, when you see a negative out in front, you can just attach it to a number. So scribble this out and put it next to the number. So now we have x divided by negative 7 equals 21. So what's the opposite of division? Good, multiplication. And we're going to multiply both sides by negative 7. Whatever number is here, that's what I have to multiply both sides by. So this turns into a 1 in disguise. And 21 times negative 7 is negative 147. So circle it. And now I'm going to explain how to check this. Okay, we moved the negative to the bottom, so when you check it, I want the negative on the bottom. So type in 147, then hit the negative key, divided by 7, negative key, and hit equals. And it should say positive 21. So put a check mark. That concludes our part 2 notes on multiplication and division of one-step equations. I hope you have a